Good morning, guys. Well, this stream is going to be pretty short. I woke up feeling like crap this morning, but I felt like I still needed to do a stream today because, well, as the title suggests, today is the 1-year anniversary of my first stream on this channel. So 1 year ago today, I sat and talked to myself for a while. So we're already a couple people ahead of where that stream was. So hope you guys are doing okay this morning. Thoughts go out to Walter and Regina, because I know she's at the hospital going through some stuff, and so thoughts and prayers go out to them. Yeah, my head's in a fog today. I can't concentrate. This isn't, like everybody else's 1-year anniversary streams. I don't have big fancy giveaways or anything like that. My channel's not at that point. Who knows if it ever will be. But 1 year ago today, I had like 3 subscribers. Today, I think I have 180 something. I don't know, 182. I don't know. I haven't kept track. So, my channel hasn't grown in leaps and bounds like some of the others out there, but that's okay. That's okay. I realize. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, this week has been full of things. Yesterday was my birthday. I turned 42 years old. Morning, Don. So I turned 42 yesterday, and then today marks the 1-year anniversary of streaming on YouTube for 3D printing and design. I realize that this channel has a very small niche market because, I'm not doing 3D printer reviews and things like that. Although I wouldn't mind doing it. No one's going to send me one when I have 180 subs. But I don't do that kind of stuff. I do 3D design and Blender, which isn't the most popular design program amongst the 3D printing community. If I were building stuff in Fusion 360 or Tinkercad, I'd probably have more people watch. But Blender is my chosen poison, as it were. And I design vehicles for G.I. Joe. So again, a very, very small niche market. So I didn't expect the 1,000 subs and things like that, like some of the others out there have gotten in their first year. I'm surprised I have 180 whatever it is subs at this point. And you guys are great. You guys are awesome that tune in, and even if you're not printing my designs or learning to design as you watch. I'm still honored that you guys show up. Speaking of people showing up, there's Roy Holly. How you doing? And man, I need a haircut. But yeah, I think I just got really bad allergies going on this morning. So my sinuses are all clogged up, and I want to dig my eyeballs out of my head because they're itching like crazy, and I don't know. And I got a bit of a cough, but I'm trying to stifle it and not cough in y'all's ears. Thanks, Don. Yeah, no, I haven't been out in the sun to get any tan to speak of, because well, it's been cold. It's still cold. I guess I did spend a little time outside Saturday, because last Thursday we had some real big heavy winds roll through, and it tore up my privacy fence pretty bad. And so I spent all day Saturday repairing the fence and filling in holes where my dog was trying to dig under the fence. Yeah, 'tis the season for allergies, and I've got them in spades today. So it's led to a really foggy feeling in my head, and I can't concentrate. But I still wanted to stream today. I don't know how long it'll be, because like I said, it's the 1 year anniversary of me streaming. I don't have anything to give away or anything like that, which maybe I should have come up with something to celebrate it more. But as far as I'm concerned, it's celebration enough having you guys here sharing it with me, and it's a good retrospective of where I started out, because 1 year ago today I sat and worked on modeling the military truck that's on Thingiverse. I was working on that model wasn't even done, and that was the second model I put out to Thingiverse. So we've come a long way in a year. I've made a lot of stuff, and 1 year ago I sat here and I think Walter was the only one that popped in, and he popped in like an hour into the stream or something like that. It was I sat and talked to myself for most of it, and but where we've come since then, 180 something subs, and the concurrent is usually around 14, 15 people, and I know that's, it's down from where it used to be, but I think that's because some of the trolls have fallen off and stopped watching. So, and that's perfectly fine. I went a step farther than that. I filled in the holes that he had dug with gravel, and then put quick dry cement down over the gravel, and wet that down, and so now he can't dig. He can't dig. But yeah, I can't think today. Anyway, it's a good retrospective to look back and see that 1 year ago I didn't have a 3D printer. I was just designing, and then Chris Riley sent me the Trunks EX1, and then I got that Craigslist ANET, which still works. It's back there, and then the trolls started attacking me when Robbie Mack sent me the CR10S4. And then I picked up the Ender 2 and Tornado, bought them from Chris Riley. The Ender 2 died, but the Tornado is now up and works. So, we've come a long way. There's a lot that's happened over this past year. Good morning, Vince. There's a lot that's happened over this past year, and if it continues to grow at the rate that it's growing, yeah, it'll take me 6 years to get 1,000 subs, but that's not what I do it for. Good morning, Red Light. And not to be overlooked, the computer I'm streaming on right now was provided to me by Red Light. So it's it's been, you know, when we started out a year ago, I was on an older, even, you know, more problematic PC, and that would barely stream, and I had no 3D printers, and so, you know, here we are a year later, and I've got, you know, 4 printers that are up and running, 5 in total, but, you know, one that's dead, which a plan for the channel in the coming months is to buy the parts necessary to rebuild that, and we'll probably rebuild it on the channel, and put it back together. So, you know, I know most of my stuff has been based around modeling, and you know, I hope you guys that have tuned in have learned a little something, whether, you know, a lot of the things that I do can be carried over to other modeling softwares as well. It's not just Blender, you know. For instance, the process of making a multi-material model, you know, if you've got Boolean operators, or like in Tinkercad, you can do the holes, you know, the empties, whatever it is. The process would be the same. The process would be the same. Just the terminology may be different. So there's things to take away from it, regardless of which modeling software you choose. So, you know, like I said, this channel hasn't gotten big, but that's okay. I didn't expect it to get even as big as it has, and for all you guys that show up time after time when I do these streams, regardless if they're a productive stream or not, I'm very thankful for it, and I appreciate you guys very much. It's just been, you know, it's been a fun ride, and I've modeled and designed, you know, quite a few vehicles over this past year, and many of them are on Thingiverse. Some of them are still Patreon exclusive, but will be coming to Thingiverse. The Scorpion is next on the list to go public as soon as I got to make some adjustments to it. I got to change some stuff on it. That's why it hasn't gone public yet, even though it's been with the Patreon squad for over a month. So I hope everyone's doing well, and like I said, I don't know how long this stream's going to run, because I just feel like garbage. And yes, Mr. Buttram is responsible for naming the Scorpion. So, you know, you guys have contributed to me, and hopefully I have returned the favor in kind, and contributed something, you know, to you guys, whether it was just helping you all pass the time in the mornings, or a conversation, and, you know, hopefully, you know, I've also offered a friendly ear to those who need to talk. You know, I'm always here for you guys. So I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me in this past year. You know, none of this would have been, you know, near as much fun without you know, y'all coming in and hanging out. And so, you know, hopefully a year from now, we're looking at, you know, just as many steps forward as I've made in this first year. We started off upstairs in a different room with less space, and you know, now I'm in my own maker space, which I need to clean up. It's kind of messy. Right, yeah, exactly, Tom. So, which, interesting and fun point, I haven't printed the updated iteration of my dumpster, but my dumpster is my most popular thing on Thingiverse. Is that insane that this something that I threw together? Now, granted, it's had a lot of iterations to try to make it better, but overall, I threw this together in like a half an hour. And this is my most popular design on Thingiverse. The Jeeps and things like that I've put, you know, 100 hours and more into some of them. And, they don't get near the attention, and maybe it's because it's small and quick and easy to print because there's not that many pieces. And so maybe I need to, look at designing some more small, easy to assemble things. Maybe that would get a little more attention. Or maybe it's just the crossover value of this, for dioramas and things like that, because I imagine some of the people that, they've added it to groups for people with like die-cast cars and things like that. So maybe it just has a broader appeal. And isn't as much of a niche as, say, the Jeep back there. Excuse me. I've been trying to stifle it and not cough in y'all's ears. I apologize. And, we got the tank is in the works, and I'm going to move forward on its design more today and tomorrow. Hopefully, my goal is this week to have the turret ready to print. So Roy, I know you've been waiting for that because yours is done, except for the turret, pretty well. Mine is still a long ways away. Here's where I am. So I've got the treads done, and I've got the undercarriage done. Nothing is glued together yet, so this thing could fall apart at any second, but it's just kind of snap fit together right now. But the tank is coming along. What has given me pause is, and I was going to ask Roy about this, the front section of the top. How long did that take you to print? Because Kira's given me crazy, like, day and a half kind of estimations. So I haven't started it yet because I don't like to leave prints unattended, and a day and a half long print that I need a day and a half to keep being able to check in on it. It's tough for me to find time to do. Oh gosh, Brian. Well, thank you for that, Roy. I appreciate you saying that. That's an interesting idea, Tom. It may be possible. Front half on the Mark III took almost 24 hours. Well, I was hoping that the estimate Kira gave me was a little longer than, usually Kira's estimates for me are pretty accurate, though. And I was hoping, I think it was 1 day and 8 hours, I think. And so I was going to go back and see if I could cut the piece up differently and maybe save myself some print time. Even if I had to assemble it as a multi-piece thing. I think the back half is the next thing I'm going to print, because it's only telling me like 14 hours, which is not a big deal. Okay. I'm you know where to find me, other than when I'm on stage. I'm usually available to chat with you guys if you guys have questions about stuff, and I want to get the tank done and then move on to the hauler and make it the next top priority, because I want that to be. Good morning, Matt Johnson. I want that to be my big project, and I guess no pun intended, but it kind of ended up that way because the hauler is going to be huge. I have some ideas for it already, and I talked with Roy about some of those ideas. Because one of the things I'm going to face with the hauler and its sheer size and the length of the trailer, because the trailer itself is like over a meter long. So I'm going to run some channels through it that are designed to have steel rods put in them to give it structural rigidity, because I don't want when you set vehicles on it, which are going to have, you know, a not insignificant amount of weight, because I mean this has already got some heft to it, and the top half of it's not been printed. You know, and the trailer will hold 2 of these easily, and I was thinking that much weight, if I don't put some sort of options for reinforcement on it, that the trailer will bow down and possibly even break, and I don't want that. So working on plans for that. When the tank gets done, I'm going to start moving forward with the hauler and try to get it to a point where it can start being printed. Well, Ivan stood on his tank, yes. I mean, and mine might support a decent amount of weight. I don't think it would support my weight. But, because I have a feeling I'm a little bit bigger guy than Ivan. But Ivan's tank had some heft to it. The trailer on the hauler is going to be a thin thing. Yeah, no, Joel's a bigger guy than me. Joel would definitely if he stepped on my tank, it would not survive, because I don't think my weight I think my weight would destroy the tank. And Joel's, from what I hear, like 6'2" or something like that. He's a big guy. I'm right at 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. So yeah, the one he's building now is insane. The wheels on it are like, or at least on camera, they look like they're like that big, huge. Speaking of, if anybody out there needs a huge printer, GearBest is having a massive sale right now, and the U20, the AlphaWise U20 Plus is only like $289, and that's a 400 by 400 by 500 printer with a touchscreen, 32-bit board, and Neary's unboxed and built one and got some really good quality out of it straight out of the box. And they're on sale for like $290 right now. I don't need another large format printer. I have 2. The next printer I want to get is a Mark III, and when I do that, I might get rid of the A-net or tear it down for parts, because I don't think I need that many printers. And the A-net is lowest on my list of printers, because its print quality just isn't that good no matter what I've done to it. And I think it's just frame rigidity and quality of components. You know, it prints okay, but it doesn't print good. Right now, of the 4 printers I have running, it's dead last in print quality, and it's even, you know, lower print quality than the Trunks EX1. Yeah, I was cracking up when he was like, and this, and this, and it was all edited together so it looked like there were multiple Ivans walking around the table. He cracked me up with that. But so yeah, the priority list as it stands right now is to get the tank finished, which I will work on it more today. I'm gonna go take some allergy meds after I get off here, and hopefully it'll help clear things up, unless it knocks me out. And I'm a wuss when it comes to medication because I don't ever take any. It doesn't take much for medicine to knock me on my butt. So if the allergy medication knocks me on my butt, then I'll sleep the day away. But hopefully it helps me clear my head up a little bit, and then I can sit down and work on the tank. My goal is this week to have the turret done and printable, so I can get that out there for you Patreon folks. Good morning, 3D printer noob. Mike Whaley. So that's the goal. You Patreon folks hopefully will have everything needed to print version 1 of the tank by the end of the week, and then as time goes by, what I'll do, like I've done with the VSV, and develop upgrade kits and different parts for it, in between projects. That's always, when I get to a point where I'm stumped on something, it's always helpful for me to go back to a previous design and make something new for it. It kind of helps reset my energy a little bit and get the creative juices flowing again, if you will. And so that's what's led to all the upgrades and stuff that are available for the VSVs. Is the VSV is my go-to to go back and add functionality or upgrade kits for. But when the tank is done, I'll go back and that'll be the time I'll add other turret options for it. Like, I want to do a big missile rack for it that will hold like 20, maybe 30 or 40 missiles. I don't know. Gonna be big missile rack is in the plans. And maybe even a bridge layer version and stuff like that, could be in the cards. Right. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Bertram. So yeah, we're there will be a lot of upgrades and options that'll come available for the tank as time goes by. Um, right now there's 4 different options for how to print the top half. Whether you want the canopy that was fused in from the Scorpion, or the hatchless version, the 1 hatch or the 2 hatch. Oh, cool. Yeah, I will try my best to have that done for you this week. Mother of all bombs. Uh-oh, I said the word bombs. Now the NSA is listening. We're talking about plastic toys, in case they are plastic toys. I even thought, making a center section to extend the length of the body, and putting like a big missile, like an ICBM carrier version as well. So there's some plans for some different things. So Tourette's syndrome. Oh, Brian, you can't resist, can you? So yeah, I plan to make several different options available to people, but that's what I've done, you know, for most of my vehicles is I make the designs modular so that you can pick and choose what parts you want and have lots of options so that when you go to print it, you can print it how you want. Um, there's a multi-material full body now for the VSV for the Patreon folks that I put up. I don't know, was it a week ago? Something like that. Week and a half. I don't know. It was like the last major thing that I put up. I had been working on it for a while, and it's just simply it's a racing stripe version. You can't not do it. As a double negative. But you know, we'll move forward with the tank. We'll get it done, and version 1 anyway. And then I'll move on to the hauler, and then whenever I run into roadblocks on the hauler, I'll go back and design an upgrade kit for the tank, and we'll continue to plow forward. My big project this year is I want to have the hauler done, and I want to print the whole thing out, and I've already got some potential for a filament sponsor for the project, which I'm going to need because I believe at last estimate we're looking at like at least 6 or 7 rolls of filament for the for the hauler. It's because it's huge, and maybe that will be more or less by the time it's done. I was just giving it some rough estimates, and that kind of price adds up quickly. So I was, you know, reaching out to a few people about potential sponsorship when the design is done, and I do have some interest there. There is only currently one option that has been posted, yes, but let me go screen share. When I get this is the one that's currently available, which I'm not going to do that thing. I'm going to scrap it. But anyway, this is the one that's currently available. But there's also a no hatch smooth version. There is a single hatch, which I kind of like this look. I may even print this one instead of the Scorpion one. And then there's the 2 hatch, which I don't like as well. I like this one. I think I like the Scorpion one the best, but since Roy's already got that one printed, I think if I go through with printing this one instead, it will, whenever I do eventually go public with it, I'll be able to have Roy share his pictures, and then I'll share mine, and it'll show people the options. Sorry. So yeah, this is probably my second favorite one. So I'm going to go ahead and I think maybe do this version. Which will require a different front and back half. That's why I haven't. That's another reason I haven't printed yet. And of course, the armor plates over here are optional if you want to leave the treads open. It's certainly up to you. I was trying to size up a seat for inside the turret. That's why you see that just floating there right now. So I want to attach it to the inside of the turret. No, the armor plates have not been posted yet, but I suppose I could post them now. I mean, well, as long as they're manifold, I haven't checked that yet. Check all. Yeah, they're manifold, so I could post them today if you're interested in the armor plates. If that's something you're going to want, Roy, I will put those up today. Yeah, that's another thing that I'll have to. They're probably going to have to be sliced in the middle as well, so I'll have to come up with a good way to do that so it doesn't look tacky. Maybe make a overlapping part on it and then run this seam around here or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out to make the seam less noticeable. Morning, Minnesota Maker. So yeah, the tank is coming along, and then when it's done, we'll move on to the hauler and make it the focus. And then after the hauler, I've got to get on some of the other projects that I've got lined up as well. I need to finish up that tactical trailer, which Roy is the only one, I believe, that has the initial beta files from it that got pulled down afterwards. So I need to finish up the tactical trailer. I need to go back and revisit the jet that I was working on and maybe move forward with it. And then I've been dragging my feet on because there's a particularly challenging engineering part that I'm working on a secret project that's kicking my butt, trying to engineer it, and because the project has to stay secret for now, I can't really even ask anybody about it. If anybody has any ideas for me to get where I'm trying to go. Yeah, I love the print you did of it, and I ran into some engineering issues trying to get the top half of it done, and then I just stopped because it was frustrating me. So I need to get over that frustration and get back on that and get that finished. I got distracted by other stuff, and I apologize for that. So yeah, I have some things to do. I had a lot of work to do, and less time to do it now that I'm back in full swing, 6 shows a week mode. But um, I will make time where possible and keep chugging away. It's the same thing I faced with last year was my work schedule and trying to work around it. So we'll continue and move forward. The tactical trailer was, let's see, hold on. Where was the tactical trailer? Is it? there's the bottom half of it, the piece that Roy managed to get all the files for and print. And then I ran into some problems with the top half of the tactical trailer and kind of put it on hold. And so that's designed to go behind the Jeep. Other low-hanging fruit was the truck version of the VSV. It was almost done. And there you see the top half of the tactical trailer that I ran into some engineering stuff that I haven't figured out yet, because I want these doors on the trailer to open up and then slide in just a little. So I need to design like a hinge that will also allow the pegs in the hinge to slide back once it's lifted up, but not allow it to slide back when it's shut. So I don't know if I need to make kind of a little lip there so that as you open, you push up, then raise it up and slide in. Because I want the doors to stay like this when opened, but still outside the edge of the trailer. Because I want to put one of the modifications that I want to make available is a like pop-up wall kit, so you could make a little tactical war room out of it. And the rails on the side here are designed for tables that are going to have flip down legs on one side and then hooks on the other side that latch into the side of the trailer. So that's, in the plans. I still need to go back and revisit printing, because it's designed and done and been up for the Patreon folks to print, but I haven't had a chance to print it out and test it, and I may, now that I got the Tornado working, I may put the Tornado on that project. Today is the go-kart. I want to print that and make sure that's, fits the figures well and everything snaps together as it should, the wheels spin, etc. So it's been untested to this point. So I want to make sure it all assembles well, and it shouldn't be too involved of a print to print and assemble. Shouldn't take a whole lot of hours. So that's definitely on the list of things that I need to print and test. Because the design is done. Let's see. Oh, there was this experimental body on this Jeep that I want to test as well. And I got to finish up some stuff on it, but I like the overall style on it. I know it's another Jeep, but it was an easy way to test something. And maybe I can look at this one as being the Cobra answer to the VSV, because the VSV is definitely intended, when I made it, was intended to be a Joe vehicle. And so then the Cobra vehicle won't be just a recolor of a Joe vehicle like Hasbro like to do. Cobra's answer to the VSV will be this thing. This yet unnamed thing. Let's see. The Mighty Might. I like that name, Mr. Bertram. I think that one's kind of sticking. Sorry, guys. And my original VSV, the one that was completely unprintable, I had a limo version of it. So maybe I'll go back and make a limo version of the VSV that eventually did come out, because my vision there was like a VIP protection detail kind of thing, which it won't be hard for me to stretch the body. Of course, stretching the body more will mean it'll have to be cut into multiple pieces, because it won't fit on anybody's printer unless they have a large format printer. And then I had some cars that I was working on that I never did finish, but I didn't really like them that well. It was another messing around with the vertices on the VSV to see if I could make another vehicle out of it. Oh yeah, the 8 missile launcher that hasn't been finished yet for the VSV is in that file. There's the hauler where it sits right now. The trailer alone is over 1 meter long, so this thing's going to be huge. And then there is the APC version. It's the same base vehicle as the hauler. So what I would like to do when I do get around to it is print both versions, so that I can take pictures of them side by side and showcase that they're the same vehicle, but just through modular part swapping. You go from this APC to the hauler, and maybe I just print the modular part differences. Thank you, Scalda. Appreciate that, man. Good morning or good afternoon where you're at. So, maybe I just print the rear parts here for the APC version, and then I could do a video showing, assembled this way, it's an APC, take these parts off, put these parts on, hook up the trailer, now you got a hauler, and it'll showcase the modular nature of the design. Let's see. I started slowly working on designing a roll-up door for version 2 of the transport truck. So there's that. That's also a model I need to go back and finish, and it's close. I finish a roll-up door, it'll be ready. Thank you, Mike. And thank you for the Happy birthday wishes as well. Yesterday was, for those who did not know, was my 42nd birthday. I'm 42 years old now. Old man. And today is the 1 year anniversary of the YouTube channel. 1 year ago today, I streamed for the first time, and so we're light years ahead of where we were a year ago. Because last year I sat and talked to myself for a long time. I'm still talking to myself, but now I've got people responding back in chat. Let's see, what else? Thank you, Minnesota Maker. You bought your first printer 1 year and 10 days ago. I made my first print April 16th of last year, which, there it is. That's my first print, and it was a fail. That was on the X1. Yeah, I don't feel like it when being a pup, when I think about my grandson will be 5 in June. Oh, it makes me feel old. Yeah, I keep mine. I keep mine, and I keep it close by. Even though it was a failure, because it represents where it all started, you know. It all started with a failed cute octo. And I wrote the date on it. Thanks, Techie Dad, and welcome, man. Glad you're joining us today. So see, you know, we're getting more and more people show up and hang out with us, and that's awesome. This stream is probably going to be a short one, and I know I said that at the beginning, and we're coming up on almost an hour already, because I'm not feeling well. But I felt it was still an appropriate thing that I needed to stream because it was the anniversary of the channel. I felt like it would be weird to say, well, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to skip the stream today. So you're not getting me at my best, but you're still getting me. Let's see here. Anything else that I had? Oh, and I still want to work on getting that modular building design done, because that modular building platform is going to change a lot of things from a diorama aspect when I can start printing customizable buildings. So that's still in the works, in the plans. I've got some engineering issues to figure out there. There's the jet. In its current state. It's got a lot of hurdles that I got to overcome first as well. So, you know, I have problems where I'll start a project and I run into a brick wall on what I'm doing with it, and I just leave it for a while. But I'll come back and try to fix it and move forward with it. Also the armor add-on projects for figures that I've designed. I haven't released those files to anybody, even the Patreons yet, but they're very, very specific to G.I. Joe. They're not designed to go with non-G.I. Joe figures. So somebody wanting to print them for another line of figures would probably have to do some rescaling and all sorts of stuff to make them work. So I don't know if that's even something anybody's interested in outside of the G.I. Joe universe. I've been trying to get the folks on the G.I. Joe forum that I'm on. What day was my birthday? Yesterday, March 18th. March 18th. And I had to work on my birthday, so I was on stage last night. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so yesterday was my birthday, and today is the anniversary of the channel. So, oh, John, good morning, sir, and thank you. Happy birthday yesterday. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like it was an important enough milestone today, being the anniversary for the channel. Thanks, Joe. Being the anniversary for the channel today to stream, even though I'm not feeling great. And just kind of a little retrospective on where we've come over the last year. And I've seen a lot of vehicle designs and with a bunch more in the works. Got my first printer during this stretch. Moved from upstairs into a purpose-built makerspace downstairs. Welcome back, Don. So, we've seen a lot of things change over the course of this year. And I went from, I think I had 3 subscribers when I did my first stream to now having 180 something. Thank you, Don. Yes, yesterday was my birthday. It hasn't been the astronomical growth of a channel that has a broader appeal, because I don't do printer reviews and electronics projects and things like that. Although I have some ideas for some things that I would like to make into electronic projects. I have no experience with electronics. Hey, yeah. Getting less young by the day, Don. Years do go by way too fast. My daughter's 21 now. She'll be 22 in May. My stepdaughter's 26, and my grandson's going to be 5 in June. My son will be 14 in 9 days. He'll be 14 years old, and that's my baby. That's the last one. That's the last one. He'll be 14 in 9 days. His birthday's only 10 days after mine. So, you blink and it's like, where did the days go? I get those old pictures that are like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, pop up on Facebook all the time, and they're usually pictures of my son, and I look at because we took lots of pictures of him and embarrassed him on Facebook because he doesn't mind. My daughters didn't get very much Facebook public view because, well, they didn't want it, and so I wasn't going to force that on them. My son likes the attention because he has aspirations at this point in his life. Now, granted, he's only 13 and going to be 14 soon. His current aspirations right now are comedian. He wants to be a comedian. And, as crazy as that dream or goal sounds, I can't disparage it, because my dream is also in a profession that is just as discouraged early on in your life, and I wouldn't do that to him. I wouldn't do to him what most people did to me when I was growing up and saying I wanted to be a singer and a songwriter. Tell me, well, no, you need to go get a real job and do something real. So, You know, I'll tell my son, you got to find a way to make your living, but keep chasing your dream. You know, if that's your dream, if that's truly what you're passionate about and you want to do, I encourage everybody to follow their passions and try to find a way to make the thing you're most passionate about make your living. So, you know, I'll be as encouraging and supportive as I can be. I don't know anything about being a comedian myself, but that's, you know, like I said, I can't disparage a dream of being a comedian when I'm a musician. That would be very hypocritical of me, and I would not do that. So, you know, thinking about the fact that he's going to be 14 in just a few days, you know, week and a half. He's going to be 14, and time goes by, man. It goes away on you. So hopefully, you know, we're looking back at this 1 year from today, and you know, we've stepped forward and made as much progress in that second year as we have in the first. You know, when I started doing this and started making these designs, I never thought I would get even as much attention or anything as I have to this point. Let's take a look at while we're doing this. Oh my goodness, my dashboard's blowing up. Why is my dashboard blowing up? Oh, because I followed the mole bot. Those not aware of the mole bot is a mostly 3D printed 3D printer, which is actually putting out some pretty decent print results. So I thought it was very interesting, and I followed it. We can go back. I think I uploaded my first design in February of 2018, so we'll go back to that. Actually, let's do it just exactly 1 year. Nope, not 18, 19. All right, so here's exactly 1 year on Thingiverse for my designs. Like I said, my garbage dumpster is my most viewed my most viewed thing. It hasn't overtaken the most downloads yet, but it will soon. So, you know, we can go down the list of all the things that I've put up on Thingiverse in this last year, and how many downloads and views and stuff that they have. I never would have thought, you know, a year ago that, you know, I would have all this stuff out there. Which the VSV, even though it didn't come out till November of 2018, has already moved up to third. And the VSV has kind of become I guess, my signature vehicle at this point. Hey, Ben Craig. Welcome to the I'm not feeling good, but I decided to stream anyway 1 year anniversary. So, you know, just, you know, keeping with the theme of retrospective of the last year and how far everything's come, this is the number of views and downloads of the things that I've posted to Thingiverse, and this is not even counting, you know, the Patreon exclusive stuff, you know, that's out there, which, you know, of course, it's not that popular. I only have 9 Patreon supporters, but which I had 11. I'm going the wrong direction there. Good morning, Ed, and thank you, sir. I'm going the wrong direction there, but that's okay. That's all right. You know, we'll keep plowing the field, keep putting stuff out there, and you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying the things. See, Roy's gonna beat me to printing the go kart now. And you'll have to let me know how that goes, because I used a different modeling technique in modeling that. Um, I was trying something new, so it should have much thinner walls, but hopefully still sturdy. So we will. I guess we'll find out from Roy if that experiment was a success or not. Hey, you closed your Patreon? I For the longest time I didn't. You know, I had it, but I didn't promote it. But I didn't feel like promoting it until I felt that I had something to offer in return. And I thought early access, exclusive models, and beta access to the things that I'm designing, you know, maybe that was worth $1 a month to somebody. And so at that point, that's when I started saying, look, you know, if you follow me on Patreon, this is what I'll give you in return. And if it's worth it to you, great. If it's not, you know, if you'd rather just wait for it to come out on Thingiverse and you don't care about the exclusive stuff, wait, it'll come out on Thingiverse. Um, Take the modeling skills that you could learn by watching some of my modeling videos and make your own modifications. And then share those modifications with everybody on Thingiverse. You know, that's fine. If that's something you would like to do, just, you know, make sure to do all the proper attribution and all that kind of stuff. Because I would like to see that. I would like to see some people, you know, go out there and make some modifications to my designs, and you know, remixes or add-on kits, as long as proper attribution is done. You know, that would be great. And you know, maybe it's something that if you come up with something that I would like to incorporate in the model, it, you know, we talk about that kind of stuff. You know. Some of these, the transit bus having 196 downloads, I'm like, that transit bus is a large item. I That's why I haven't printed it. It's huge. It's a lot of material. Somebody was working on that. Was it Mad Mike? Was planning on printing the bus. I haven't heard anything back from him on that. And then somebody printed some of the interlocking traffic barriers and said they worked well. I haven't. I've only printed one, so I haven't printed multiples of them to interlock them together and make sure they work well. Although I do now have some orange and I have some white, so maybe I should print out some in orange and print out some in white and lock them together and make a nice little barrier and see. The guard shack I have printed. It's up there in the closet right now, and it came out good. And I want to take some of the same processes I used in developing the guard shack and develop a modular building system. And then that way people can snap together, whether they want to glue it, make it permanent, or be able to still pull it apart. Big buildings and stuff like warehouses and things like that, so that people can make their own, you know, play sets or diorama pieces. So see, coming up in June, you have a 2-year anniversary, Don. Which I know John Mack has printed the bar stool, but teeny tiny. Chris Riley asked for that bar stool design, if you all remember that video, and printed it with his hang printer. The bar stool has since broke, I understand, and is no longer. Sorry. I need to take some medication, and hopefully this clears up some. So there hadn't been a lot of makes posted on stuff. I guess the Barstool has the most makes posted. And most of the stuff that you see, one make post. Did you guys see the Hack Monkey Scott modified the hammerhead into a Pinewood Derby body, and it got featured on 3D Printing Professor's channel a week or two ago, and that was really cool. So he modified it, and if he sees this, if he wishes to put that up as a remix on Thingiverse, feel free. He modified it to be a single piece body in the scale of Pinewood Derby, and printed it out. And he said it wasn't the fastest Pinewood Derby car, but it was definitely one of the most popular. Oh, you printed it? Is that the most recent version of the dumpster? I think so. Thank you, Brithawks. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I forget what version we're on. Did yours have those hinges? Where they're just the little individual pieces that snap on over those? You just glue those down. It was part of a list of 3D printed things that he likes, and it was like 8 minutes into the video. 3D Printing Professor. Joe Larson. Let's see if I can see which. Oh, it was like 8 minutes into this video here, the All Mine Adventure 3 from FlashForge. It was like 8.5 minutes in. But Hack Monkey sent me a tweet with the timestamp on it. I know YouTube has rules against playing other YouTube videos during your video, so I won't do that. But if you look that up, the one where he does the FlashForge printer recently, it's like 8 something into it, where he's going over some 3D printed projects that people like made him aware of, or something that he liked, and so it got a brief little mention there. The Pinewood Derby car. So Scott modified the Hack Monkey. He modified the hammerhead to be a Pinewood Derby scale. I don't know if it's mounted on a wood block or what the specifications are there. I haven't done Pinewood Derby since I was a kid. Well, I guess I take that back. when my stepdaughter was in, what's it called? Awanas? Is that right? I can't remember. It's been years ago too. They did a Pinewood Derby race, and I helped her build and paint her car. Which it was about ended up being about the slowest car there, but it won the Best in Show trophy. So, but yeah, I guess Scott modified this to be a one-piece thing, and Pinewood Derby scale. So, if he ends up watching this or this gets back to him, if he wants to, he can feel free to put it up as a remix on Thingiverse. He's 7 years. Wow. Yeah, I was marveling the other day at. I've been a member. I was on eBay looking, and I've been a member on eBay since 1998. And it's got that member sense, and it's like 1998. I'm like, good Lord, I've been on eBay for a long time. Over 20 years. My eBay membership is old enough to drink now. And it happens before you know it. It does. Time flies by. Speaking of, I've already streamed longer than I thought I was going to make it today, because and again, I apologize that my head is in a fog today, because I do not feel it. I do not feel well. I think it's allergies, so I'm going to take an allergy pill after I get done here. I just stuff like that has a tendency to knock me out, and so I didn't want to. Oh, which Roy, I shared a picture of your print on the G.I. Joe forum that I'm on, so that they could see your progress, because my progress was much less impressive. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to fight that battle too, John. It's not a big battle, but it's still a little bit of a battle. I put on 30 pounds in the last year. So it's time to get back in shape. But it's I'm trying to get the G.I. Joe community more interested in 3D printing, and having my designs out there where I'm trying to show them and tell them that, look, if you guys go buy a 3D printer, you can print new vehicles for your G.I. Joes. Compatible vehicles for your G.I. Joes, and hoping that will bring more people into the 3D printing community. That's been my goal with this, all along, is to try to bring more people to 3D printing, and maybe bring some 3D printing people to have interest in G.I. Joe, because it's a brand that needs the help. It needs the help because Hasbro is not producing new stuff. It's in a very stagnant state right now. Probably the most stagnant state it has been in its existence. And you're talking about a toy line that's been around for, over 50 years, and it's dying. And so, basically the last gasp hope for G.I. Joe, at least right now, lies on the upcoming movie that they're making, which it isn't due out till 2020. They're making a Snake Eyes movie. making a origin story movie for the character Snake Eyes, and if you're familiar with G.I. Joe at all, you're familiar with Snake Eyes. Although I'm wondering how they're going to get around the fact that his character is mute, doesn't speak. How they're going to make the movie interesting that way. And I'm sure there will be toys to come along with the movie in 2020. And if the movie does well and the toys sell well, then maybe G.I. Joe will see a resurgence. And we'll see more new figures and vehicles coming from them. If the movie flops and the toys flop, then that's probably going to spell the end of a toy brand that's been around for longer than I have been around. You know, they celebrated 50 years, 2 or 3 years ago? Something like that. So, you know, it was a thing that brought me to 3D printing was the lack of production from it's been around forever. And the lack of production from Hasbro on G.I. Joe vehicles is what led me to 3D designing my own and wanting to 3D print them. And there are other third-party companies out there making plenty of figures, so you still have, if you're a G.I. Joe fan and you want compatible stuff and want to make custom figures and stuff, there are companies, third-party companies, that are providing that. But there is no real third-party support other than the Core puts out some cheaply made plastic vehicles that are compatible with G.I. Joes, you know, which you can find at Walmart. And the Chap May line of stuff that used to be at Toys R Us, but now Toys R Us has gone out of business. I don't know where you can find Chap May stuff anymore, which was a Chinese company making cheap G.I. Joe scale vehicles. Yeah, you had the 12-inch ones that were the 1/6 scale, which if you had a machine big enough or wanted to take the time to slice the model into enough pieces, I guess you could print the stuff that I designed at 300%, and they would be scaled appropriately for those G.I. Joes. Because these figures are 1/18 scale. So to modify stuff that I've designed for 1/6 scale, you would only have to multiply, by 300%, and it would be compatible with the 1/6 scale G.I. Joes. But it would take a huge printer, or it would take doing what Joel did to his 400% scale open RC car and slicing it into a bunch of pieces. So lots of filament, lots of work to glue it all together and things like that. So it would be problematic. It might be fun to try, and maybe at some point I'll try to print a 300% scale VSV. Maybe, I don't know. That's a daunting task, but just to see if I can, maybe I will. But I don't think... Oh, you don't have them anymore? I don't think even the S4 here... Let's see, let's get the VSV. 2-door. Get the front clip. What happens if we scale it? Scale. What happens if we scale it 300%? Huh? It almost fits. Can it be rotated to fit? Well, if we turn it that way, then we rotate it this way. There. I can make the front clip fit in one piece on the S4. Barely. At 300%. And how long would that take to print? Oh Lord, how long is it going to take to slice? Oh, it's definitely going to be more than one day. I'm just wondering how many days. Drum roll. Wow. Look at Don and his 2-day estimation is 2 days and 36 minutes according to Kira. Yes. Which I guess I could probably get away with no supports on that. Printed in that orientation. Yeah, in that orientation it would probably work without supports. Let's try it. Let's slice it and see how much time it would save by not doing support and in that orientation. This is 300% scale though, so I mean, we're talking, well, it's going to take up the whole build plate, so yeah. We're talking about a Jeep that would be that wide. 1 day and 22 hours, so it'd save a couple hours. It would save a couple hours to not do supports, and I think it would work. No, you don't think? The only overhang you got is right here. I think it would make that. If your machine is dialed in good enough, I think it would make that. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to attempt a 300%. This says the front clip alone is 670 grams, approximately. So over half a roll for just the front clip. You still have the rear clip, the doors, the front pillar, and then you would have to slice the frame into multiple pieces. Probably 3 pieces. To get 300%. And that's on a 400 by 400 printer. It might be interesting to see. I guess I could get the yeah, get an FK1. Wonder how much longer until Glenn makes the bill of materials and build plans available on that. Morning, Mike. How big would a tire be at that scale? I gotta see. Morbid curiosity. Sorry. Morning, Ron. Oh, wow. So there's a 300% scale tire. And keep in mind, this is a 400 by 400 bed. I doubt you could get... No. You would have to have supports on the tire. At least we're touching the build plate. Actually, probably everywhere with how far out at that scale the treads would be. Wait. Generate support. This is a morbid curiosity moment. Well, Ron, this all started because we started talking about printing one of my designs for a the old G.I. Joes, the 1/6 scale G.I. Joes. And so to modify one of my designs to 1/6 scale, you would have to print it at 300%. So it would take almost 20 hours to print just a single tire. And it would be huge. I mean, about like that probably. Morning, Ben. How are you feeling today? Yeah, so because the G.I. Joes that I collect are 1/18 scale. So the 3 3/4 inch to 4 inch figures. But the old ones were 1/6 scale, so they were like 12 inches tall. So to go to make something from 1/18 scale to 1/6 scale, you would have to multiply it by 300%. So if you wanted to print this Jeep for the original G.I. Joes, it would be a whole lot of filament, a whole lot of time, and a whole lot of trouble. I guess it would also make it compatible with Barbies, because Barbies are approximately 1/6 scale as well. Yeah, I'm under the weather myself today, Ben. So I feel you. I think mine is allergies, though. Glue's coming loose there. Have to re-glue that. But yeah, this... This I do not have glued on, obviously. And I have reason. My reason is I'm still developing other parts that I don't want to glue that on for, so that I can use it as a test subject. Because I have plans for some other stuff that will go where this roll bar is at, and I wouldn't want to have to break the glue off every time I wanted to swap the parts out and try them. Have a good day, Ben. Hope you get feeling better, Ben. So, yeah, this is, you know, in its own way, ended up kind of becoming the signature vehicle of the channel of my designs. And there's now a racing stripe version available on Patreon files for those who have a multi-material unit. Which will be interesting because I did it in such a way that you could here, let me just do this. Where is it? I'll just open up and slice it for you real quick. Have to do it in Slicer or Slick 3R, whichever you prefer. Not right now. Add. So here's the front clip. Yes. And then we go to, I forget where you go to look at the preview. You Prusa folks will have to remind me. Do we have to slice it first? I forget where you go to look at the preview with colors and stuff. Oh wait, there it is. Preview. So you could do this, as crazy as it would be. How do you rotate in this thing? Oh, okay. Left mouse. You could do this with as many as 5 colors. Where you could choose, you know, however you wanted to lay it out, but you'd have the stripes running through it. You could make it a veritable rainbow if you wanted, or you could just do you could do everything one color and just do one stripe a second color, or just do the center stripe a second color. The options are plentiful and up to you entirely. Clear the build plate. I haven't. Racing stripe version. Rear clip. Yes. Oh, there we go. So here you can see this one, as far as your options to color stuff, you can color the taillights, you can color the frame around the taillights, the individual taillights, plus have the racing stripes options. Well, that's just because that's the colors that are set over here. That's why it looks crazy. I could, you know, go in and change them to more reasonable colors. But this is all part of me trying to continue to develop stuff and make stuff available for those with multi-material units, so that they can have options. Oh, okay, there we go. See, I haven't used Slicer Slick 3R Prusa Edition. So yeah, that got put up for Patreon folks sometime, I think last week, maybe the week before. I don't know. I can't keep track of it all. But you have the options now of multicolor printing your taillights and racing stripes and do any number of colors that you want. And I plan to eventually go through and make more multi-material designs as far as the patterns and whatnot that are on the Jeep. I have a really cool one in mind that is going to remain secret for right now, but I want to have it done with enough time to be printed before a certain holiday, because it's going to be a specific holiday edition of the VSV. So I'm going to do some stuff like that as I'm going through and keep making updates and additional features available to people. And I know not everybody has a multi-material unit out there yet, but they're getting more and more prevalent between the Palette 2s and the Prusa MMU2 S, I guess now. So yeah, I do want to continue to make some additional designs available that way, and it's not real hard for me to make these changes. Now that I know how to do it, it's not difficult at all. How do you change the colors on the filament? Is that over here? Yeah, there you go. And that's kind of what that looks like right now. But yeah, I guess you could do that and do, whatever color options you want. But this would just be going through and through choosing what filaments you want. In settings, settings. Filament settings. Ah, color. Oh, I didn't do that right. In these settings. I don't know. I don't know how to do all this stuff yet. I haven't had to mess with Prusa Slick 3R Slicer Prusa Edition. Oh, okay. So like basically if this one was 1, if I also wanted this one to be 1, and this one to be 1, and I could choose this one to be 2, this one to be 2. Okay, so then you'd have your more traditional racing stripes where this is one color, this is one color, where this piece, and this piece would be the same color, and these two would be the same color. So you'd have your more traditional racing stripe look. And then I did these in all the colors I did so that you could do, you know, if you wanted to do black and then you wanted to do, you know, orange for a turn signal and red for a brake light and white for backup lights, you could do that. You know, it's just a matter of what you want colored where and how many options you have available to you. Number of extruders, you know, obviously you're limited to 5 on the MMU2 and 4 on the Palette 2. But that doesn't mean somebody's not going to eventually be wanting to print this with like the tool changer system from E3D, and maybe they've got, you know, 6, 7, 8, whatever hot ends available to them with different colors. So I thought I would just go ahead and plan ahead of time for that and slice it up into pieces that, because the easy thing to have done would have been when I did it to make the 2 stripes the same model, the same STL file. And then you would have had no choice but to, however you wanted to do it, both the stripes were going to be the same color. And then I could have made the body panels like this piece, and this piece one STL. So you would have had no choice but to those 3 panels to be the same color. But I wanted to give people more flexibility and options than that. So literally every piece on there is a separate STL. So you ended up with all of these just for the rear clip. So yeah, it's going to take a little more time and effort in setting up your color choices and whatnot, but you have more options available. And so I thought people who are using multi-material machines at this point are probably used to the extra time in choosing their colors and all that kind of stuff, and would appreciate options. I could be wrong, because I've never used a multi-material unit. Front clip, rear deck. The doors are much more simplistic. Yes. Oh. Because the doors only have, the door handle is a different color. But I have some plans coming up for some of the future designs that, you know, doors will have more colors involved in them and things like that as well. But this is the racing stripe version. That's all it is just basic racing stripes. But it gives you the options of going with, you know, multiple colorful bodies. Whether you wanted to do it as a traditional racing stripe or you wanted to do it more exotic. Oh, sorry. All right, well, before this continues any further, I've got to go take some allergy meds and see if that helps me out. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. And 1 year down, hopefully more years to come. And we've come a long way in a year. Hopefully we continue to move forward. Yeah, I need to go take some medicine, lay down for a little bit, and hopefully shake this thing before I have to go back to work on Thursday. Just the color you want. Okay. I'll play with that a little bit. But thank you, everybody, and thank you for everything that you guys have done getting me here. I mean, none of this would be possible without you guys. So, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for inspiring me, and I look forward to another wonderful year that we have ahead of us, and hopefully we have continued growth and continue to move forward. Thank you, Roy, and we will see you guys next time. I guess a week from today. Later all.